Video number 7. Justice was not served for Daniel. Hi, it's Kathleen. I'm back. I would like to let you know that I'm not going to be putting out any music on this video, and I'm not going to be showing a lot of pictures right now because I've shown quite a few of my son and his friends and other family members. What I want to do really is just get down to the nitty-gritty of this video and try to get the families out there to know how important it is to listen to my videos and know what an experience I had while my son was in the group home on his journey, and what it was like for him and the family. And hopefully the families will get something out of this. This is my main purpose of doing these videos, is to really show if I was so involved as I was as a mother and an advocate for my son, and all these things happened, I can imagine what could happen when there's nobody there to advocate for these voiceless people out there that are disabled, elderly, and so I'd appreciate it if you can just bear with me. First, I would like to express that I am somewhat relieved that I was able to show some of my raw feelings to the public at the end of video 6. I assure you it was not planned. The feelings I have shown are real, not staged. I am very grateful that I have been able to put out videos 1 through 6 for the public to view. Although they were painful, it was very necessary. In video 6 at the end, I put out 2 letters that were sent to Congressman Vito Fossella and Senator Vincent Gentile by Linda B. Lowell, Director of Residences of UCP of New York City. It was at that time I sent along 2 images of my son Daniel's injuries he sustained under the care of UCP of New York City, now named ADAPT. The letters take light of my son's injuries, but the pictures show a much different story than to pass them off as skirmishes or a mere incident like the letter states. My son received a head trauma, not just a few sutures, and his back injury was not a mere scratch. Mrs. Lowell's statements were untrue, like so many other cover-ups and lies that were told by the administration. It was mentioned in the letter that Daniel was involved in some behavioral issues. Daniel was a peacemaker who loved life, loved people, had love for all pets, even snakes. I repeat again, as I did in video number 6, my son did not have a behavioral issue. Unless you want to call defending yourself against a staff member or a consumer who strikes you and you need to defend yourself, you want to call that a behavioral problem? Hell no. The administration told out-and-out lies about my son Daniel to cover their own asses. After all, who would believe one mother's voice against a well-known, supposedly upstanding, high-powered agency? Well, the way I looked at it was, if you don't succeed, try again. Eventually, you can be heard. The squeaky wheel does work, but takes time and so much effort. But so worth it if it can save one consumer's life. I need to clarify to the people who have or will watch my videos 1 through 6 that while Daniel was residing in his group home residence in New York City, that there were many staff members that were great, caring people that Daniel truly cared for, as I myself had. They were the caring ones and the not-so-caring ones. Daniel had several that were his favorite, but like every human living in the flesh, mistakes can be made, even from the ones you trust. There were many directors in the residence that came and went. There was 3 in particular. One who came to work intoxicated, and I was told by the administration she had issues, not to worry about them. But sure as hell I did worry about them. The second one lived in New Jersey and could not be reached in an emergency because she stated her phone was out of network because she resided in New Jersey. Director number 3 only had a home phone to call when an emergency came up. And when one did concerning my son, I did not have a number to call her, and this was mandatory. After the incident and my complaints, it was then that she was supplied with a cell phone by Linda B. Lowell, Director of Residences. Please understand, although some of these directors came with credentials for the director's job, in no way does that mean they were qualified. But the secretary, who was the core of the residence and served as a director, the administration drove her out because of her loyalty to look out for my son and I. The big bad wolf, Mr. Edward R. Matthews, did not like that. Again, I repeat, as I have in my previous videos, I was a poison pen to the administration. The few bad apples in the administration who ran the show did not want to have anything to do with me. But after 2 investigations and repeated letters sent to the agency on my son's behalf, I was informed by the administration in 1998 that Daniel's long-awaited journey to move back to Brooklyn was beginning to become a reality. There was an opening in Brooklyn right across the street from a day program that he was going to, and also the 70 precinct, which gave me some solace of comfort. It was a studio apartment on the 2nd floor. It was small but workable. This move would also eliminate the long bus ride. The thing is, this bathroom also needed renovations. I felt Daniel's wish was finally becoming a reality, or so I thought. My next video, number 8, will explain and update what new obstacles arised that was going to detain Daniel's long-awaited move. At the end of this video, I will show a few of the many pictures I have in my possession of the condition of my son's apartment and how it deteriorated while I was absent, at times, because of my constant going back and forth from the apartment in New York City to my home in Brooklyn in order to take care of my sick brother with ALS. The lack of my not being at the apartment allowed the staff to let the apartment become a total disaster. Below are pictures of the so-called modified bathroom that was overflowing with water from the toilet that already had a long history of problems. The toilet overflowed into the living room area, as my pictures will show. Also, in the kitchen area because of the wall being taken down by a botched reno job. With all this, the state audits were still passed. Please reflect on video 6 and the letters that were sent to my state senator and congressman by Linda B. Lowe of New York City, UCP, now named ADAPT. That states the apartment my son resided in was appropriate for his needs. I want to thank you for listening and watching. Please feel free to comment or like. Please be kind. This is a picture of the bathroom at the residence. It's at 620 East 13th Street, New York, New York. And this was the doorway that I wanted having taken off, but they said that my son needed privacy, and he wasn't supposed to have privacy, but he was supposed to have somebody in the bathroom at all times when he went from the toilet or the shower area back to his wheelchair. And so this was just one of them. And then you have this picture here where it's going into his bathroom with the doorway. And my son almost tore his toe off getting into the door. His toe was in very bad shape. He was very upset, no more than I was. And the administration said, the bathroom was fine for his needs, it was appropriate. And now you have the bathroom before it was even renovated to the so-called reno job that they did. It had a chair, a folding chair in his bathroom, and the toilet wasn't even set up for anything for a wheelchair or him to sit on it. So that was while I was fighting them to get the bathroom completely renovated like they promised me they would do in the very beginning of his stay. And this is all the water that was coming in to the living room area. You also have this picture here where all the water from the bathroom leaked into the living room area, and I had to have all the rugs changed. And all this was happening also while my brother was very ill, and he was dealing with his illness with the ALS. This is another patch job they did on the bathroom floor, going into the bathroom. It's disgraceful. I mean, I only had a camera back there, you know, and I had to use it because I didn't have the technology that they have today. This is, I cut my hand going into his room because the lock was completely ripped off the door, as you can see here. It was just a total disaster. And this is the door. It was hanging off. Took a long time before they even had somebody repair it, and that was after all the complaints that I made to the administration day after day. It never ended. I mean, it pains me to even have to show all these pictures, but I had no other choice. This is a picture of my son's botched renovation job for the bathroom after they pulled out the tub. As you can see in the back, it has a pitch. Well, there's a pitch on the floor that was supposed to let the water go down the drain, but the water went into the kitchen area where they broke down that wall, and then also into the living room area. And now you see the toilet on the side that had a long history of overflowing, constantly overflowing water. And now you have water from the shower just laying on the middle of the floor, which can cause injury to both staff and my son, which it had already done. And now you have a picture of the shower after they patched up the floor when they took the tub out, and it has mold all over the back of the wall. And it scratches all over the floor. And then you have my son's chair here that they had him on that has no rubber castings, which when I came up again, they were off, and I had to go out and buy my own, because when he sat on the chair would move all around the place, which also would be causing him to be susceptible to another injury. And now you have these wires that are sticking out of the wall as you walk in my son's front door, and they go from the ceiling to the bottom of the floor in the closet, and the closet's all open. And I asked the administration to please patch up the wall and close in these wires, and they never did it, not even up until the time he left the residence in 1999. They were still there. And this is all at 620 East 13th Street, New York, New York, Tanya Towers, apartment 3G. And now you have a picture of the utility room where it's got all tin sticking out of the floor, which never was removed. It's filthy. It's disgraceful. You have a new pail on the left-hand side and a washer and dryer that they had ordered. But meanwhile, they left all this unsafe tin on the floor and all the dirt around it for the consumers to be subjected to being around that. And now you have my son who's coming from his living room into the bathroom. There's a door in the back of him, and then there's a door in front of him. And here's his doorway. It's very small. I took the door off. The administration put it back on. They said he needed privacy. I told him he needed to be kept safe and out of harm's way. So he locks the wheelchair with his left hand, and his right arm and hand are paralyzed, as you can see. And he has to leave the chair in the back, of the doorway. And there is the bowl on the right side here, sticking out. It's just another disaster waiting to happen. And then you have this picture here of my son. His wheelchair is on the outside of the door on the left-hand side. He's standing there in the bathroom. The bowl is in the back with the seat down, which is I told him to take the seat off, the hood of the seat, and then you have him holding on to the pole here with his left hand. And if he leaves his left hand go, that means he wouldn't have any stability while he's pulling his pants down that he already soiled by trying to use the task of going to the bathroom in this so-called appropriate residence that Linda B. Lowell, Director of Residence, stated in her letters to the Senator and Congressman that it was a safe environment for my son. Well, it wasn't a safe environment. It was an accident waiting to happen. And every time I come in, I always brought my camera because I always knew there was something waiting for me to see, which I did not want to see, but it was there. And this is while I was begging and pleading with the administration to get my son out of that residence. I would like to allow the public to be aware that the pictures I have shown of my son's bathroom facility in New York run by UCP, now named ADAPT, that I have had these pictures hidden for a very long time, since the late 90s, and did not want to view them, nevertheless put them out for all to see. But although painful, it was worth it to have them out there, to hopefully help other families and their loved ones who are in a group home or that will join a group home in the future. Daniel would also want me to do that. I also want to add, there were times I came to visit my son unannounced at the residence. Staff was not there to help my son do his transfers from his toilet or to the shower. There were many times they were congregating in the dining room. Also, there was a call button in the room, but it was broken and it was never fixed. Thank you.